Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I'm Danny Marie, your podcast bestie. Today, we're switching it up. I've been on a roll for the past 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, speaking directly to my podcast community. But today, we're on Substack, we're on LinkedIn, and we're on Facebook. And so that widens the audience just a bit. So I'm also speaking to my gig workers, my influencers, my content creators, my entrepreneurs, and we're talking about getting into the room. Some of you have a lot of experience and some of you are very well tapped in. Some of you moderate, some of you totally inexperienced. And no matter where you are on your journey, on your path to networking and making the right connections so that you get more access and more opportunities, we need to discuss getting in the room. And there's always opportunities no matter where you stand on the spectrum. There's opportunities to constantly evolve and to think about other ways to get in bigger spaces and just to streamline the process of getting in the room and making the right connections and doing it all with intentionality. So get in the room is our topic for the next 30 minutes. It's 10:30 a.m. PST where I am in the Pacific Northwest. But forgive me, I have not introduced myself. So some of you know me very well. I am Danny Marie, your podcast bestie, working with you to teach you how to monetize your podcast. Some of you guys have not even started a podcast, and that's okay. Maybe you want information about the World Cup that's coming up, because I also have a podcast which focuses on how to leverage small businesses, collaborations, and sports opportunities or big events that come to your area. And with that, how can you change just one small thing in your business so you can constantly get a piece of that money that comes through? When there's a big event or a major sports event that comes to your area, your city, your region, there's a lot of money that's trickulating through, but not a lot that actually makes it to the small business owner. So another one of my podcasts outside of teaching podcasting is Host City Hustle. And our focus is making sure small businesses, gig workers, freelancers, wherever you fall, you understand there's access and opportunity in the business of sports. So that's another way that I can help you and help you think about how you can get into the room. And then if you happen to be a small business owner and maybe you don't want information about the business of sports opportunities that are out there, maybe you just want to promote your product, your brand, your services, then I have a whole bunch of podcasters to connect you with. And that could mean you guesting on their podcast or you creating a ad that can be placed on a podcast. So there's so many things that I'm able to help you with. My Wednesdays typically involve me lounging around the house, working on projects because I am a creative at the end of the day. So I have a lot of time to help and aid you with either of those things. We have courses for you, an accelerator program, a 5-day fast track to launching your podcast. We're meeting up in Atlanta next month. So I'm a connector and I have so many different things that I can connect you with and plug you into because I'm so serious about getting in the right room and leveling up. And ROOM is actually an acronym that I'm going to talk to you more about in these 30 minutes that I'm live here. But it's a mindset thing, right? Again, walking with more purpose, more intention. And so some of you guys are doing pretty good at that. Some of you guys have hit a plateau. Some of you are looking for more ways to do more with less demand on you. So you're willing to enlist the help of someone like myself. And even when it comes to some of the projects that I'm open to doing today, I can do a quick turnaround of about 48 hours. So if you're looking for a landing page, revamping your website, we are doing all of that today because we want you to get in the right rooms. And we don't want a website or a landing page or a bad post to be the reasons why you don't have access. So make sure you're tapping in. I love to assist, especially on a Wednesday. It's cold out here in the Pacific Northwest. Again, my days are much shorter because my kids have no school. And it's usually a project creative day for me. Though there's a lot that I could be doing, I'm taking the time to help some of you. And then starting with this chat today. So let's get into it. Get in the room. Room is actually an acronym, and it's actually R-O-O-M-M that we're using today, or you could say R-O-O-M, and the M is going to be used interchangeably. Whatever, if you're a stickler for, that kind of thing, since we're using acronyms here. So if you want to give it R-O-O-M or R-O-O-M-M, whatever. I know some people like to say, well, where was the other M? You guys like to be very nitpicky. So I felt like I needed to give that disclaimer. But let me pull up my slide deck. Build the room before you fill the room. Now, this was for my weekly podcast meetup. We host one every Saturday on Zoom. Again, you're more than welcome. And you can reach out to me to figure out how to tap into our weekly podcast meetup. But this was something that we talked about last Saturday, building the room for you. It is the season of pod festivals and conferences, and we're officially kicking off our activation because we're going to go to the Black Effect Podcast Festival next month. This month now, it is April 1st. This month, April 25th. So we're preparing for the activation. By the way, let me take this slide down really quickly. The Atlanta activation, we're kicking it off at Pullman Yards. We're having our first stop at the Content Studio. We're doing live podcast pitches on the bus. We're getting off the bus and doing a scavenger hunt. We're going to play bingo in a very cool, unique way. But all of it is to help activate you, get you excited, help you mix and mingle with other podcasters as we're all preparing to attend the festival, the Black Effect Podcast Festival. So that's our agenda. And if you want more information, of course, there's the QR code at the top right, or you can use the link scrolling at the bottom. And this is what the blackeffect.com/podcast festival website looks like. We have no affiliation with the Black Effect Podcast Festival. We are just a group of podcasters who want to get in the right rooms. And so we're pulling together a group of podcasters. We're all going to pull up on the party bus and activate while we're there to do both the festival and some activations in the Atlanta area, working with a few businesses and collaborating with a few teams. So if you want more information, again, the QR code is at the top right. And make sure you do your own research if you want to attend the festival by going to the website, blackeffect.com/podcast festival. Now, this link or website that you're watching is more information about our Atlanta activation in particular. All right. So again, the QR code leads you to the information for the Atlanta activation where we are jumping on the bus and we're going to do a few activations and collaborations in the Atlanta area. But because we've been planning for our activation and talking about getting in the room, I wanted to break this information down to my group of podcasters so that it's all palatable and they understand the value of getting into the right rooms and setting your intention. And I thought that the content was so good, so rich, that I wanted to share it with you all on LinkedIn and Substack and wherever else you're tuning in. So hence why I'm live sharing this with you today.
It's so rich.
All right. All right, so I'm making sure that we're sharing it to our other spaces as well. And so that's the reason for the pause. But today, I want you to think of this as shifting sides. So you've been the attendee, you love new ideas, you want to be in the know, you want to educate yourself as much as possible. And in my opinion, I've hit a point or a plateau where I feel like now it's time to be an executor. There's not much information that I feel like I'm missing out on or that I cannot go and find myself. And I know exactly how to go get the information that I need. Now it's for me to apply that information, right? So now organizing. And then, like I said, activating. So the organizer thinks clearly and they act. They are responsible for building the rooms. They are creating the value and they're actually moving. Whereas the person just attending, they just love new ideas. They love to hear people talk. They love to be educated. They love to be in the passenger seat. They love to consume the value. And sometimes they may struggle with execution. And so they don't necessarily want to be in the driver's seat. But I'm speaking to the organizer today. This is for the person who says, I'm tired of all of the coaching. I'm tired of playing second fiddle. I'm tired of being taught at. I realize that there are gaps in the industry that I feel like are my strong suit and things that I can contribute to the space. So it's time for me to move out of the attendee spot and move into the organizer position because I have a lot that I need to share. And I know that there is a need for the things that I want to share with people. And so I'm ready to organize now. My thoughts are clear. I'm no longer just consuming, I'm actually applying the information. I live and practice every day. It's time that I execute more at a greater level. If that is you, comment organizer in the chat. If you say I am ready to organize, I want you to drop organize in the chat, no matter if you're catching this replay. If you're watching live, comment the word organize. So here's the acronym that we're using today. Remember, it's R-O-O-M-M, or you can use the last M interchangeably. So this is a framework that I think helps you, again, say, okay, this is easy. This is retainable. I think I can do this. It's time to organize. It's time to get in the room. So when you're thinking about the conferences that are ahead, or like if you're coming with us to Atlanta and you want to be intentional with how you maximize your time and optimize the opportunity, this is a very simple approach using the ROOM acronym. R, what is the reason? This is where you're laying down the foundation. This is where you try to assess the opportunity, value the pros and the cons. So R, the reason. O, what outcome are you looking for? What could the potential outcomes or opportunities be? The second O is offer. Once you know what the outcome is, tentatively speaking, then you can reverse engineer and you know to work backwards, and that helps you build your offer. How are we going to message or market to our target audience? Because we know what we're offering and we know the opportunities here, then we know exactly how to shape the messaging, the brand message, the brand identity, and we know how to convey that to our target audience. And then M, how are they going to navigate everything that we want to present to them? And how do we make that process as seamless, that navigation process as seamless as possible? So that's the last M, map. Let's dive deeper into the R. And mind you, we're talking about getting in the right rooms because we are in the season of conferences. Not to be remiss, many of us are meeting up next month in Atlanta. I keep saying next month because I forget today is April 1st. This month, April 25th, is a Saturday. We're meeting in Atlanta. So join us for the podcast pull-up in Atlanta. We're kicking it off in Pullman Yards. We're making our first stop at a local. We're doing live pitches on the podcast bus. We're doing a scavenger hunt and bingo experience to help us get off the bus and connect with other podcasters or other creators and influencers in the area. We're jumping to a second location, which is responsible for funding a lot of tech startups in the Atlanta area. And then we're going to spend the rest of our day at the Black Effect Podcast Festival hosted by Charlemagne the God, Lauren LaRosa, and DJ Envy. Saturday, April 25th. That's this month. Now, we do have our own activation, like I said. So separate from the Black Effect Festival is our podcast pull-up. Jump on the bus, stop at a few places, take a few photos, get some great content, meet important people in the Atlanta area, jump back on the bus, and do some more shaking of hands and kissing the babies while we're at the festival and just having the most of our time there connecting with other podcasters. So in the video clip, that first video was for Black Effect. This second clip is for our activation. So you can get all the details using the link scrolling at the very bottom of the page, but this is what my website looks like. So we're talking about getting in the room. I'm so grateful for this young lady who sent me this message when she bought her VIP tickets. And she said, "Great, thank you so much. We will get that invoice paid. We are so excited and we are working to grow our podcast. And I think this will be very beneficial." She wants to get in the room. This young lady bought the VIP tickets because she is ready to get in the room. And maybe you guys don't join us in Atlanta. Maybe you join us in other spaces. So not to be remiss, I am the co-host of the Host City Hustle podcast. FIFA is coming up. We have this really great accelerator program specifically for entrepreneurs who want to make the right transition and prepare for FIFA. So we've collected a series of interviews and we've put together this accelerator program. Every week there's something different. One week you can barter your services with everyone a part of the accelerator. The other week we're going to give you our best advice on, a new product that you want to introduce or a new menu that you want to add to your menu, expecting the influx of people that are going to come through your business or your restaurant for the World Cup if you are in any one of the host cities. So we also have the accelerator program. And then maybe you just want to launch a podcast. We have information about that too. So again, we're talking about getting in the room. If you're not joining us in Atlanta, we still have other opportunities for you to level up. All right. Shout out to all of you. A hand clap to those of you who say, I want to get in the room. I want to get in the room this year. All right. So the R in room. Who are you building this for? Who exactly is this for? So for our Atlanta activation, it's for podcast influencers who want to get in the right rooms. So they're joining us in Atlanta, and we're going to pull up in a nice group of people, all professional podcasters as a collective. So we look like we are official and we represent one another and we represent the podcast community. So that's what the Atlanta activation is for. But when it comes to you getting in the right rooms, whether it's South by Southwest, maybe you are a business professional, or maybe you are a tech professional, or maybe you just know a lot about AI. What are the right rooms that you need to be in this year? Have you thought about planning out what that looks like? Who exactly is this for? What is the purpose? The specific purpose of us doing the Atlanta activation, again, is we want to show up and look like professional podcasters. We want to meet other professional podcasters and have them on our podcast as guests. We want to collaborate with other podcasters. We want to expand our brand and the look of our brand. We want to get the content so that we can promote it for the next couple of months, because content is king in this digital era. So that would be the purpose. What's the purpose for you attending this festival? You have to think about that. Is it so that you can shake hands with the right influencers or the right tech founders? That helps shape how you move, which workshops you get into, which events you attend altogether, staying before or after, because you want to try to get the most of your time there and do other things in the area while you're in town. What does that look like? You have to build with purpose and with intention. And if you're organizing, you have to think about that when it comes to your ideal consumer, right? Think about the purpose, the benefit for them. How does this help bring value to their journey or their business or their life? How does this buy and free up their time? What problem are you solving for your audience? That helps shape and define the purpose. The second step, the outcome. What are you leading them to? So again, is it a connection? I have another company we're working with in June, tentatively speaking, out in Atlanta, and they have an app called White Collar, and their job is to match mentors to mentees. So to help connect and foster that relationship. And so their primary focus in that desired outcome is to build connections. Where if you are someone in the photography or videography business, maybe your outcome for your client is to get them great content, great value from your services. Maybe you teach a webinar because you are a business owner or a coach or consultant, and your goal with your webinar is to provide clarity why someone should work with you. Or maybe the desired outcome is just to create more opportunities. So maybe you're organizing an expo so that even though at large people all need different things, they still can all walk away with unique opportunities to them. What is the desired outcome that helps shape the destination and the journey that you want to take your consumer on? Step 3, building the offer. So what is the experience going to be like? Like I said, when we do our activation in Atlanta, we're going to have bingo, we're doing a scavenger hunt, we're doing a pitch party. So we're getting all of these things in that help people who are not comfortable commingle and meet more people than maybe they would do on their own if they were attending the event by themselves. It helps them get a lot of great content for the videos, the reels, the photo optics, because while we're jumping off the bus, we're doing a game of bingo or we're moving around the city and playing a scavenger hunt. It's helping us move our bodies and get great content value. For you, it might be hosting a great panel or a workshop, mixer, or a game or activation. There's so many different offers that you can build, and you can start very small and work your way up to something pretty big. It's entirely up to you. But again, it goes back to the acronym. What is the reason, right? What is the desired outcome? And what is the offer? And then we're talking about the map and the message. So I told you guys what our agenda looks like, and I share that on the screen, and I'll do it again. The podcast pull-up that we're having in Atlanta, this is our map. This is how we're planning it out. Why? Because it's cheaper to rent a party bus than it is to rent out a whole other peer space location, so another venue. It's cheaper. It's easier to cover more ground if we're on wheels. So the bus or the Sprinter is going to be our content hub on wheels. We hit more spots, we get more value, we get more things done, right? But again, your map might look much different than mine's. What is the location, the time stamps, the flow of the event, the supplies? So a run of the show, you have to map it out. And you need to ask yourself these things. Whether you are the organizer creating the event or whether you are the consumer attending, even though we said we're moving into the organizer side of things. But if you're attending these conferences this year, also look at it from that lens. I want to make sure I understand the location. So for me, when we thought about the activation, what Black businesses are near the Pullman Yards area that we can collaborate with that make the most sense based on Pullman Yards. So based on the area, we know there's a few reasonable choices. So East Atlanta Village made the most sense. It's slightly outside of Pullman Yards. It's a nicer area. There's Black businesses that are responsible for a lot of tech and great for connecting, and a hub for Black business leadership, Black business, Black finance, all of those important things. So that's what helped shape our decision about the location that we chose to partner with, because it was in the area. And we know we have limited time because we want to use much of the morning part of the day to do all of the things out in the field and then make sure we still have a lot of time to participate in the festival. So let's go to these locations earlier in the day, get the most out of attending and get the photos and content that we need, and then spend the rest of our time at the festival. So we don't have a lot of time. So how can we make sure we hit up maybe 2 or 3 spots within 3 hours? And then we also don't want to pay a lot of money for the bus. So all of that stuff shapes and maps out the plan and the flow of the event. Now, the message, when you have everything else planned out, the reason, the offer, the outcome, the map, then the message is that much more clear. So you understand the title, who is it for, why people should care, and where you should promote it. So I've been going live every day to talk about what we're doing in Atlanta. We called it the podcast pull-up when we're talking to our podcast community, because it makes more sense and it aligns with who we're talking to, our target audience. We let them know the value of what they get by either getting the VIP package versus the general admission, and explained why people should care. And then we know, of course, where to promote it. So we have an audience on LinkedIn, on Substack, on Facebook. So this is how we're building our Atlanta activation. Again, if you want details about this, the QR code is at the top right. But this is what we're also telling you when we talk about get in the room. Get in the room. Some of us, we buy the tickets, we go to the event, we're overstimulated by everything that's going on. We're trying to hit up every workshop possible, cramming it all in so little time. We're not thinking ahead. We're not planning carefully. We're not setting our intentions by only going into the rooms that make the most sense for our Q3 and our Q4 goals, or make the most sense for the type of audiences we want to attract, or make the right sense for whatever the case, right? We don't think about it. We just kind of go into it. And then when we look up, we didn't get the value that we wanted, and we paid so much money, forked out the cost to pay for our lodging and our flight and entertainment while we're in town, but we didn't leave with anything that can create exponential growth for our businesses, or helping us scale our content, or helping us pick up more clients or guests. And so we really need to assess, what does it mean to get in the room? And using this acronym helps us all think about getting in the room much differently than maybe we did before. All right. So again, this was as if we were going to do our breakout rooms, because I presented this to my podcast group. So we're not going to challenge you to go into the building an event right now. What we are going to do is, if you are at a season where you're ready to start planning, think about these non-negotiables: the event name, who is it for, the intended outcome, your basic agenda, your location idea, and one way you plan to promote. Whether it is, going back here, whether it is a panel, workshop, mixer, game, activation, these things can catapult you into success, take you to that next level, help you cross over. So whether you're building something small, medium size, or something huge, everything should start with a plan. Use this acronym ROOM to help you, and do not compromise on these non-negotiables. Plan the event name, who is it for, the intended outcome, the basic agenda, your location idea, whether online or in person, and one way you plan to promote it. All right. So again, we're talking about going to Atlanta. Maybe you don't join us in Atlanta, but maybe you're ready to scale up. We invite you to join us in other spaces. Again, I have a ton of time for projects today. So if you need to revamp your website to scale up and get in the right rooms, if you need a landing page made, if you need to build a quick course builder, if you need to create a sponsorship deck, if you want to get in the right rooms with other business owners and join our accelerator as we are all preparing in the next 60 plus days for the FIFA World Cup. We have ways to connect you. We encourage you to get in the room. I am Danny Marie. That is my time. I can be contacted by way of email, hello@itisidanimarie.com, or for information about the Atlanta activation. Remember, that's scrolling across the screen. But you have a lovely Wednesday and get in the right room, guys. Bye.